Hello students, welcome back to the class. Last class we learned liberalization, privatization and globalization, its advantages and disadvantages. In this class we are going to learn about the World Trade Organization, its objectives, functions, impacts on Indian economy, sustainable development and steps taken to protect environment. Now we are going to learn about World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization was established on 1st January 1995 by the member nations of United Nations Organization. Its headquarters is located at Geneva in Switzerland. Its objectives are to remove obstacles that coming on the way of global trade, to remove protection policy for foreign trade, to coordinate global trade policy and economic policy, and fourth one, to solve the trade related disputes arising in the world. These are the important objectives of World Trade Organization. It was established on 1st January 1995 by the member nations of UNO. Headquarters is in Geneva in Switzerland. Its objectives are to remove obstacles that coming on the way of global trade. Number 2, to remove protection policy for foreign trade. Third is to coordinate global trade policy and economic policy. Fourth, to solve the trade related disputes arising in the world. Now we are going to learn about the functions of World Trade Organization. We already learned the objectives. From this World Trade Organization we will get one question for board exam of 2 or 3 marks. So what are the important functions? First is to set up a required structure for implementation of agreement related to multinational trade and agreement related to it. Conduct debate and negotiations for multinational trade. Encourage multinational trade. World Trade encourages unbiased multinational trade. Different nations follow their own national policy. It observes them and suggests required improvements. These are the important functions of WTO. To establish required structure for the implementation of agreement. Agreements are done for the multinational trade with different countries and agreements related to it. Then second is conduct debate and negotiations for multinational trade. Third is encourage unbiased international trade. Multinational trade is otherwise known as international trade. Different nations follow their own national policy. It observes them and suggests required improvements. Now we are going to learn about impacts of WTO on Indian economy. How Indian economy affected by the World Trade Organization. India is a member of World Trade Organization. So, which type of benefits would India acquire by becoming a member of WTO? First one, India's contribution to world trade was increased from 0.5 to 1%. So India's contribution to world trade was 0.5%. Because of increase in international trade, India's contribution in the world trade has increased from 0.5 to 1%. Second is, as a member of WTO, export of ready-made clothes of our country has increased. Third, as a member of World Trade Organization, India's export of its agricultural products is increased. Fourth one, when export is increased, import decreased. If export is more than import, foreign investment or foreign exchange will increase. These are the impact of WTO on Indian economy. First one, India's contribution to world trade was increased from 0.5 to 1%. Exports of ready-made clothes has increased. Increase the export of its agro products. Export increased, import decreased, foreign investment increased, foreign exchange increased. So India will not get the benefits, but it has to comply with some conditions. It is especially depend on how fast India increase its infrastructural facilities and how developed countries treat India. Now we already learned World Trade Organization, its objectives, functions, impact on Indian economy. Now we are going to learn about sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development is the development which meets the needs of the present generation without compromising with the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Thus, the idea of sustainable development developed because of extreme effects on nature near human habitation and man-created cover, that is environment. The present generation is developing with high speed. It cannot be maintained the future. So there is a fear that luxuries which present generation is enjoying may not be there for future generation. So what is the need for sustainable development? The most important reason is that the present generation, what all luxuries are they enjoying, they may not get for the future generations. There is a decrease in natural resources because of the economic development. At the same time, the quality of natural resources are also decreasing. So there is a need to change the idea of development. So we have to learn sustainable development because of the present development and effects of it on the environment. So sustainable development is the only remedy for development without negatively affecting the environment. So sustainable development means the development which meets the needs of the present generation without compromising with the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It is the only remedy for development without negatively affecting the environment. Now we are going to learn the strategy should be adopted for conservation and preservation of natural resources. What are the strategy taken for conservation and preservation of natural resources? First one, the renewable resources like forest, water resources, etc. should be used, that their quality is maintained, and non-renewable resources like coal, petroleum, minerals, etc. should be used judiciously. So first point, use non-renewable resources judicially. Then renewable resources, their quality should be maintained. Second is, industrial location should be decided on the basis of lesser transportation cost. How it will become lesser transportation cost? If the industries are located near to the market and source of raw materials, we can reduce the transportation cost. So, a sincere attempt should be made to achieve eco-friendly development. So, eco-friendly technology should be used. Third is, those resources which can be used in more than one way should be utilized in different ways, such as different irrigation systems are used for more than one purpose. For example, hydroelectricity process, hydroelectricity and multi-purpose projects. Multi-purpose projects can be used for producing electricity, flood control, transportation, etc. Fourth is, natural resources should not be wasted or polluted. Control should be laid on unplanned disposal of industrial waste, poisonous chemicals, increasing slums, etc. Last is, use non-conventional source of energy. Non-conventional source of energy are such as solar energy and wind energy. So these are the strategy adopted for the preservation of natural resources. First one, use non-renewable resources judiciously. Second is, the quality of renewable resources should be maintained. Third one, reduce the transportation cost if industries are located near to the market and source of raw material. Fourth is, use eco-friendly technology. Fifth is, natural resources should not be wasted or polluted. Last one, use non-conventional source of energy like wind energy and solar energy. By doing all this, we can preserve our natural resources. Now we are going to learn about steps taken to protect environment. Earth Conference was held in 1972 at Stockholm in Sweden. Thereafter, from time to time, convention and camps have been organized for the protection of environment at the global level. India is involved in the global efforts. Government is also making different efforts at national level for environmental protection. First one, information about pollution levels in different cities should be given. Second point, central and state pollution control boards have been established to control pollution. Third point, 5th June is celebrated as Environment Day in the world. In India, government passed the Air Pollution Control Act in 1981. Fifth point, international agreements have been signed for deteriorating level of ozone layer, disposal of nuclear waste, and maintenance of biodiversity. These are the different steps taken by India government. First one, information about pollution levels in different cities should be given. Central and state pollution control boards have been established. June 5th is celebrated as Environment Day. The government passed the Air Pollution Control Act in 1981. International agreements have been signed for stopping the depletion of the ozone layer, disposal of nuclear waste, and maintenance of biodiversity. Thus, the conservation of environment is not only the government's duty, but it is everyone's responsibility. If you do not control pollution, the life on earth will be doomed zone. So it is our responsibility to protect the environment. Now write answers in one word in the following questions in your notebook. In addition to this, write textual questions in your notebook. First question, under which feature are the obstacles of trade removed between nations? Second question, under which feature can capital be easily exchanged between nations? Third question, when did economic reforms begin in India? Fourth one, which change in the economic policy encouraged the reduction in government controls? Fifth one, which organization play an important role for debate and negotiations for multinational trade? Sixth question, under which policy the government reduced restrictions and controls imposed on private sector to encourage economic development? Thank you.